Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another What's on Your Mind. My name is Nimari Bewu, and I am your host, or the African Butterfly, as I'm known on social media. I'm so excited to have with me my guest today, Kelly Minter. Hi, Kelly. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Great. And you've been here before, so I always love our chats. But why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I am a licensed therapist in a couple of states now in the US, also see clients outside of the US, licensed in Florida, New York, Colorado, Vermont, um, others TBD. And I work specifically with queer couples, with people across the board in the queer community, but my specialty is queer couples.
Nice, nice. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for joining us today. And it's Women's History Month, so I'm doing a lot of woman-focused conversation. And something we had started talking about was dealing with negativity in social media. We both have a little bit of like a platform, like we're not like mega influencers, but we have a bit of a platform in a space where we talk about things that are on our mind or that
Mhm.
educate us. And it's great because I mean, I know for me, I love the community that I've sort of built and started building. But it does come with some negativity sometimes.
Mhm.
I know you dealt with some recently, so I was wondering if you want to share like just a general about like what happened and then like maybe like how you deal with those types of
Yeah.
situations.
Yeah, well, I had I'm trying to figure out how to do it without calling people out. So I had a video recently go viral for me, right? So I don't have a huge audience, but it's not small, but it went viral for me, and I did not know it hit so big that at the same time, a very famous couple, um, same-sex couple, which I think is what frustrates me the most, is I'm like, man, we're all working for the same thing, and like, you could have asked.
Mhm.
Anyway, so they took it and word for word copied it, like word for word. And it was a parody reel. It wasn't even, anything serious or anything, which I happen to think I'm hysterical. I'm not really known for my humor on social media, but I think I'm funny. This one, a lot of people thought I was funny about, but it hit so big initially that I wasn't getting the tags that people were tagging me in when they published theirs. So I didn't find out till weeks later that they had taken word for word and put it on TikTok and Instagram. And so at that point
Without
I was like,
tagging you.
no tagging, no acknowledgement, no anything. And then some other people were tagging me in their comments, and some of them were getting deleted, some of them weren't. They were kind of ignoring the ones that they weren't deleting. A couple of friends of mine hopped on theirs when I posted about it on my story. I was like, I don't even know what to do because it just felt so weird, you know?
Mm.
And then somebody, the most bizarre part of it is somebody was like, hey, you could at least mention her, in their
Right.
comments.
Right.
Someone else hopped on and said, well, she's not funny. Her her thing her Instagram sucks. She's not funny. She should be thanking them for calling her out, and she do a shout out for them or something like that. I was like, well, why would they want me to do a shout out for them if my like account sucks, right?
Well, and if they didn't tag you, so how is that help? Like
Right.
the sheer
Exactly.
logic of that makes no sense because they
There's
didn't
none.
tag
There's
you. Right.
absolutely none. Right. And I'm just like, and the crazy part is they have such a big platform that if they had said, hey, this is funny, we want to do this together, I'm like, yeah, cool. I would have been like, cool, tag me, no problem. I would have
Mhm.
no problem with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Or
And
even if they had
yeah,
just done it and tagged you, like that's a
right.
social media etiquette is such a weird thing because it's like
Hmm.
it makes people feel so comfortable and fine with like stealing people's
Yeah.
ideas. And it's
Yeah.
hard because sometimes something's trending, right? Where everyone's just
Sure.
reusing the sound and reusing the phrase and we're all doing it.
Right.
In which case you're not really going to tag people because
Hmm.
everyone's doing it.
Never.
But
Right.
I do feel like when there's times where it's clearly like a niche, like or niche,
Hmm.
and you're clearly taking it from like somebody, then I
Right.
think those need to be referenced. Like I'll even because I do lip syncs, I like to
Hmm.
use people's voices. If
Yeah.
it's not like them doing something general and it's like their voice saying something, I'll leave a comment and say like, "I is it okay
Hmm.
if I lip sync with this?" Or I'm going to,
Yeah.
because once you put it out there as public, I technically don't need to ask
Yeah,
your permission. But I do think it's a good
absolutely.
idea to like let people know that like, hey, I'm going to be using your voice through my
Hmm.
face, or in your case, I'm going to take your idea word for word. And
Right,
then I feel like it's not that difficult to credit people. Like so
right.
I'm very into K-pop right now. And
Hmm.
there's this one creator who does like reaction videos. I already have a little bit of a thing about reaction videos, like people who get
Hmm.
like all of their like following just like watching the
Yeah,
work other people make. Because I
yeah.
mean, on one hand, I'm like, oh well, I do enjoy some of them. Like it's fun seeing
Hmm.
theirs, but it's like they're just reacting. Like calm down, you know what I mean?
Right,
Um,
right.
but I don't watch his videos, and I like when people share it, I don't watch it because it's like he has such a big platform, but he never shares where the videos come from. Like he never
Oh.
tags it. You can never
Mm.
see like where it's from, because I sometimes it is a lot of work. Like I'll reuse people's videos for like
Mhm.
my stories, like my BTS stories, but I make sure like
Yeah.
I don't ever hide like who they're from or their links, and if I
Yeah.
can tag them, I do. And so I feel like it's just so shady to use people's work to like the only work you're doing is reacting to them, and you can't tag them.
Mhm.
You can't
Right.
let that like let us find the original.
Right.
So like I think it's so shady. I hate when people do that.
Mhm. Yeah, it gets so frustrating. And I don't like mine was a take on someone else's. You know what I mean? So it's not even like mine was 100% original. The idea came from a trend that was going on and I changed it
Mm.
because as a therapist, I thought it was really funny to be like, I gave people terrible advice as to what to a text to respond to their partners after a fight, like really
Oh
bad advice.
yeah.
And then gave them like sound like psychological reasoning for it.
Mm.
But I'm like, it was word for word.
Word for word, they
Like,
took it. Yeah.
y'all you can't, yeah.
And
But
it's
yeah,
got to be
so,
frustrating too that people are like, oh, well, you should be grateful to them for,
yeah,
because it's like,
yeah.
but they didn't give you a platform because unless you had known, like
Mhm.
until you found out that something was said and then you brought it up, they actually
Right.
didn't give you a platform because they never tagged you and never brought
Mhm.
spotlight to you. And
Right.
I feel like it really concerns me the psychological state of people thinking that like followers and money and certain things make people automatically better than other people. It's
Right.
so, and like I fangirl out with the best of them. I do. I'm like,
Mhm.
well, but like I don't actually think these people are better than me just because like
Right.
they have more followers or they have more
Right.
money. And there really are people who think that like the minute
Mhm.
somebody gets to a certain level, like really that they really are on a different level of being a person
Right.
than the rest of us.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like it's super weird. I just had that conversation with somebody the other day, like somebody else who is also a therapist who also does a lot of stuff on social media. I said, the weirdest thing in my life right now is that no one in my real life, my everyday people I see life, knows anything about social media at all. I am
Mm-hmm.
literally the only person in my life that is on social media, which is great because social media can't be part of my everyday life then. That's
Right.
amazing. And
Yeah.
also when weird stuff like this happens, or I had something super weird with my follower count happen that kind of like distracted me for almost a full day just because it
Mm.
just went so wonky. And I just couldn't, I was like, who do I talk to about it? Like, there's
Right.
nobody to talk to.
It's weird because it's like it does matter when you're in that world for
Yeah.
different things. And it's hard explaining that to people because it's like,
Mhm.
well, I don't care about my follower accounts, but I do care.
Right.
Like I
Right.
care in the sense of like because my work is content
Yeah.
creating, I care about being able to show to people that I want to work with that I can craft stories that people want to watch or that I can make content that
Mhm.
people want to watch. So it does matter to me, but like
Right.
not in the sense of like my self-worth or how I think like
Right.
I'm good about things or like that people like care so much. Like I think of it solely for work, and there will be people who don't think of it for work, but just think of it as like their
Mhm.
validation, like who likes them and
Right.
how many comments. And I'm like, that's so concerning, especially because it's all
Yeah.
algorithms and you can't base it on certain
Mhm.
things. So to like put all of
Yeah.
that in there. And then also the fact that, like you said, there are so many people who don't, when you're in the social media bubble, it's easy to think everyone's in the social media bubble and everybody
Mhm.
gets it. And then you touch grass and realize, no, Most people don't
No
care.
one gets it. Yeah.
Like, you think something's happening and the whole world is talking about it, and you go outside, nobody's talking about it.
Mm-mm.
Everybody's like living their life. And it's
Yep.
good, like you said, because you can escape from it. But it
Yeah.
also makes it hard when like people don't understand when you're like dealing with stuff, because they're like, oh, well, it's just social media. Who cares? You're
Right.
like, well, it does kind of
Mhm.
matter to all of us who care. It matters to,
Right.
to those who care.
That's what to actually make a paycheck from it. It is a big deal. Like there's
Yeah.
it matters when YouTube is suppressing one of my videos because I talk about queer stuff. Like that does
Mhm.
matter, like
Yeah.
that's a thing.
And it's weird because like I've also actively seen people change the way they talk about you and treat you
Mhm.
based on your follower account. Like
Yes.
literally I've been like at events where like I'm talking to people and like we're fine, and then like someone will come up and like mention like, oh, I follow you on social media, or oh, you have like blah 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 followers, and like the way the other people talk to me changes. I'm like, I was the same person I was 2 seconds ago. Like, I mean, on some level I'm like, okay, like I kind of get it, because that person, just by the phrase influencer, has more influence because they know more people.
Mhm.
But unless
Right.
like it's directly related to the stuff I do, I actually do not have that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like your
Right.
influencer circle is based on what you're influencing, I guess, right? Like
Right.
those people,
Yeah.
what those people
Yeah.
care about. So having a large follower account doesn't actually mean anything if what that person talks about isn't anything related to your life.
Right. Yeah. I think it's where the whole niche idea like comes in, like within a certain niche, you can be really known,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
really, I don't want to say a big deal because that feels weird, right? But like a lot of people can know you and then still have anonymity anywhere else. Like no
And
one
I kind
else
of
would have
love
anything.
that.
Yeah.
Mhm. Like it sounds weird, but like I love when I like discover new people where it's like, oh, I've never
Mhm.
heard of it. And they're like, oh, everyone knows. And you go to their page and they have like 1 million followers. You're like, I've never heard of
Like,
them.
yeah,
But like,
never crossed my feed.
not once. But like, I
Mhm.
love that because it's like, I feel like it enforces the idea that there's room for all of us. There's really no
Yeah.
reason to get crazy about everything, because there are people with millions of followers that people have not heard of. There's room for all of us to be
Right.
successful. You know what I mean?
That's a big part with like therapists on social media, because there's really two camps. There's two loud camps. I'm sure there's lots of people in between, but like the therapist should be on social media and market on social media, and there are people like you should not be on social media as therapist, period. And
Mhm.
it's like there's room to do both, and there's nothing wrong with either. And there's room
Yep.
to just sort of be on, or there's just to be on yourself and not market yourself. Like you could
Yeah.
do any of them. They're all fine. There's
Yeah.
no problem. You know what I mean? Like if you want to market yourself, cool. There's ways to do that. There's ways to
Yeah.
do it ethically. Like I teach an actual workshop about it. Like there's ways
Yeah.
to do it very ethically and it's fine, but you also don't have to. Like it's
Right.
yeah.
It's a catch-22, and I do think it's good.
Mhm.
It's hard because you do have to be with our times, but I mean,
Yeah.
there's still room for people who are not with the times. You
Mhm.
have to find them the old school way.
Right. Right.
But I think it's still like it's important, and because it is needed, and it is just a way of communicating. Like there's just no getting
Mhm.
around it anymore. But I think
Yeah.
it's also like just so important to make sure that you are checking yourself to that it's not your entire world. Like it really isn't. There really
Mhm.
are times where I have to literally step outside
Yeah.
and be like, I need to get away from,
Yeah.
especially when things are going rough, or like when something bad is happening and it feels like it's so all consuming.
Big. Yeah. I think that happens more and more these days, right? Like I feel like because the algorithm shows you what you spend more time on. So the videos that I spend more time watching, if I watch the whole thing or a whole news briefing or whatever, yeah. And then I get
Yeah.
more of it, and then I'm like, oh, things feel really dark, and I need to things feel really sad right now.
Yeah. Mhm.
And I just need to like put my phone down. I actually got a brick. And I got an affiliate link with it. I got affiliate membership with them too. I haven't done anything with it yet, but like
Mhm.
I got a brick. And
What's
I'm
brick?
so it's this app and this like thing. Well, it's an app and an actual brick that like it brick your phone. Like you pick a
Oh,
certain setting and decide like what apps are blocked and what apps are not. And like,
oh.
it's like after 11 p.m. now, every app on my phone, except for texting, phone calls, Wi-Fi, and my like alarm system and and cameras is inaccessible to me until 7
Ooh.
a.m.
That's good. I need that.
Mhm.
Probably,
Yep.
I need that.
I'll
Which
send
of
you
course
info
makes me
about it when
like, oh,
we're done.
I shouldn't, but I do actually. You know
I
what the
know.
crazy thing is, and I feel like it's crazy because I tend to blame it on my mental illness side of things, is that it's like I hate that I'll know the right things to do, and what's worse,
Mhm.
I hate that like doing the right things also kind of feel good too.
Yeah.
But then like I'll be like, oh, let me reward myself. I forgot who I was talking about this
Mhm.
with recently. It might have been on the last episode, but I'll be like, let me reward myself with bad things. And it's like, wait, no,
Mhm. Yeah.
wait. But like going to bed early and not pick like I remember when
Mhm.
I put myself on a strict like no phone before noon, like no social media.
Mm.
And so I would like wake up and I would work and I would do like different things. I just did not let myself get on social media before noon. I was so happy. I was so
Yeah.
productive. Life was good. But now I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I could do that again. But it's like,
Mm.
why not? You just said that life is
Yep.
good like that. Like I feel like
Yep.
I should want to do that. But
Yeah.
instead I'm like, no, no. What is
Yep.
that? Is there a name for that?
I mean, there's a couple different parts of it, but honestly, it's pleasure seeking. Like you're getting like when we are scrolling, we're getting little tiny dopamine hits. Like that's
Hmm.
why scrolling is so addictive. Like it really is. And so like not wanting to stop doing the things that you know you're getting, you know for sure you're going to get dopamine hits from it, you're not going to want to put that down.
Yeah.
Like especially anyone under the neurodivergent umbrella needs to have something to swap that out with, things
Hmm.
that give you like happy feelings,
Yeah.
while you're
Yeah.
doing the things that your non-preferred activities or whatever, like the things you
Yeah.
don't want to do. You need to be doing things that are also pleasant. Like I'll tell people like watch a show that you really like while you're doing a task you hate,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
if you can do that and not like stop doing your task. Some people can't, so don't.
That's the
But
problem.
yeah, yeah. Like if it's a TV show and like folding laundry and you can't like fold laundry, you just like start watching the show. Obviously you can't do that, but like maybe music, I don't know. But yeah, but that's honestly what it is. Like you're not people don't want to ask for help or use the help that's available to them because that means relying on someone else or something else. And we've all been told for so long that that means weakness. It
Yeah. Yeah.
doesn't. Like it really doesn't. There's actually strength in admitting that you need something and getting the resources that you need. There's actually a lot of strength there,
Yeah.
but that is counterintuitive to the way that we've been sort of trained brain
Yeah.
wise, And so that's a lot of it too. Like it's a lot of like when Bloom and Brick and all those apps came out on the market, why a lot of people were like, that's ridiculous. Like just stop using it or just use your like, timer thing on your phone or whatever. But they're so easy to get around. So that's
Right.
why they weren't working for anybody, you
Yep.
know?
And I say that I'm like, listen, if I had the self control, I wouldn't need the help.
Right.
I try to remind that of myself. Like if I
Exactly.
could do it, I've known what to do for a long time. Like
Right.
with different, like whether it's work, health,
Mhm.
fitness, like it's like it's the
Right.
actual doing. And sometimes you just have to like admit that you need help. And I think that
Mhm.
that's hard for a lot of people, but especially for
Yeah.
women, it's Women's History Month. And we're
Mhm.
going to talk about that. It's just that like we constantly are expected to like be all and do all and
Mhm.
not complain. And if you complain, it's why are you complaining? And it's like, it's so
Right.
frustrating because it's like no matter what side you take, what road you take, there's always going to be people telling you you're not doing it well enough. You should have taken the other
Mhm.
road. And it's like so important, I feel like, to like know your own voice and figure out
Yeah.
what you want because it's just constant noise. I feel like as a
Right.
woman, there's just constant noise about what you coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Right. Absolutely. What you should be doing, what you should be looking like, how you should be receiving feedback from people,
Yeah,
like even the negative feedback, like, oh, ignore them or, oh, no, engage with them because ignoring them is weak or engaging them is too in their face. Yeah. There's always someone else's opinion on it. So, like, which also means this is the other side of this, right? It also means you're never going to make everybody happy
that
anyway.
part.
So like at some point you come to the other side of that and like fortunately for a lot of us, it's like perimenopause is when you come to that side of it. Like when you're like, I don't care anymore because
Okay.
I'm never going to make any of you jokers happy. And so I'm just going to make me happy. And like the voices do start to get quieter once you understand that. They don't go away because,
Right.
you know, we all live in capitalism, but like they do get quieter if you can remind yourself that you're never going to make everyone happy. So why not make the voice that you hear the most happy, which is your inner voice, or should be hearing the most. A lot of us make our inner voice real quiet. But it's in there and it still wants you to be
Mine's
happy.
loud. She's never quiet. She's always yapping away at me.
That's good though. That's good though,
Yeah.
because it's probably easier to hear then.
I hear her loud and clear. But no, it is good. And it's something I've actually had to work on because I used to be like such a people pleaser and wanting to like make other people happy. And I realized that like a lot of times it was at the detriment of myself. Like, you know, and something I remind myself is that most situations, sometimes there is a winner and a loser. Like there isn't always, but sometimes there is, and that person doesn't always have to be you, right? Like I feel like whenever I would come up to situations where I didn't want to do something but someone else wanted it or needed it, then I would be that self-sacrificing person. But like you don't have to be. Like you can choose to put your foot down. People aren't going to like it. Everyone's not going to love you, but if boundaries were easy, people wouldn't need them.
Well, if everybody likes you because everything you do is self-sacrificing, then they just like you for not just, but one of the reasons they like you is because they can always win with you.
Right. Yeah.
Like, that's not liking you. That's liking how little of you shows up in the room with you. You know, like that's not liking you.
And when you end it, or like when you're no longer that person who bends over backwards for them and everything falls apart, you're like, oh, wait. Well, I've had those situations too, where like I think we have like this great friendship, this great relationship, and I stop like reaching out all the time, or I stop like giving in to them. And then all of a sudden it's like friendship done. And like I'm the one sitting here running like, what happened to the friendship? While they're just fine. And I realized, oh, this whole time it was in my head that we had this great friendship and they were just taking what they could get from the situation.
Yeah. I feel like there's so many stories about that recently too. I don't know where the surge came from, but so many people who just stopped reaching out to people and, you know, realize how few people they actually have in their lives that are actively reciprocally involved.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think jarring for a lot of people, like to just realize when you aren't matching energy with somebody. And I mean, there's gonna be ebbs and flows, sure, but like generally you should be matching energy with people that you're in relationship with, whether it's romantic or platonic or familial, like you should be matching energy.
At least a little bit. And like, and I do think like on some level you kind of like know, like some people are more chatty and some people aren't. I do try to make a point of like people who reach out to me, because I'm not the best at reaching out. But like if there's been a pause, I'll reach out to the person and be like, hey, just checking in, making sure. Like I do try to keep aware of that so they know that like I'm aware. But it is very interesting, like when you stop being the person that does it, how like it just stops on their end. And it's hard because people go through things and you want to acknowledge that. And like also people are used to certain relationship dynamics. But at the same time, you want to be like, hey, do you not notice that I haven't talked to you? And, or do you not care? Like if I never talk to you again, will we never talk again? And I've had situations where it feels that way. It's like I stopped reaching out to them and we've like nothing, which is crazy to me. It's crazy to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always a bizarre thing when like, and I think that's one of the things that we don't ever get taught how to do is how to end friendships, you know, like how to be okay. Like you're allowed to talk about a breakup. You're allowed to mourn a breakup. And there's this weird, like no expectation of mourning a friendship or, you know, and ending friendships hurts as much as a breakup can, you know, like how,
I think I'm also like, because I'm a girl's girl anyways, I'm more attached to my female friends sometimes. And like, yes, a romantic breakup is terrible, but like I get upset about friends. Like I don't have many, but like I recently had one, and literally like when I tell you I cried for like 2 days because it's like, this is supposed to be like my bestie, and you really do think of them. And like, I don't know, I guess there's a part of me that's like, oh, relationships, like it's great if they work, if they don't work, but you don't expect a friendship breakup. So like when you meet a friend and you're like, oh my God, we're bonded, we're best friends, we're sisters, we're like soulmates, you really think like that's it. Like at least for me, I'm like, this is it for life. So then when it ends, it's like, what the F, you know?
Yeah. No, that's a really good point. Yeah. There's kind of an expectation of this may or may not work out in a romantic relationship, like at least until a certain stage. There's like a,
Mhm.
yeah, maybe, maybe not. Like
Yeah,
we're figuring it out. That's the
right.
purpose of the beginning stages of the romantic relationship.
Yeah,
But yeah, there's not stages like that. There's
with
not
friends.
defined stages like that with friends. Yeah.
No. And I can be friendship bound very easily. So I
Mm-hmm.
try like not to, like I try to, because the
Mm-hmm.
thing, the thing with me is you can't relationship bound me. Like if you come in with your I love you too strongs, I'm like, whoa, calm down.
Back up.
But like when I meet a fellow girly and she's like obsessed with me and so
Mhm.
I'm like, I get it. I would be
Mhm.
too. Like, let's be friends. You have great taste.
Do all
Like,
the things.
like to me, it's just them
Yeah.
expressing how wonderful taste they have, which is why they
Mhm.
love me instantly. So I like don't hold off as much as I should. I've gotten better in my
Mhm.
older years
Yeah.
because I've been friendship bombed a couple times. So I've
Yeah.
gotten better. But I think this recent friendship
Mhm.
ending was upsetting for me because it's like when the friendship started, I
Yeah.
felt a little friendship bombed, but then like, so I did like, but then we became like
Mhm.
really good friends and we've been like literally besties for like 2 years. And so like
Mhm.
now to like not be speaking, I'm like, oh, so
Yeah.
then there comes that thing, like, even in relationships where you're like, I should have ended it in the beginning. I knew.
Mhm.
So now I'm like, I knew she was friendship bombing me from the like,
Yeah.
but you
Yeah.
can't know that, especially when it goes on for so long where
No.
you're like, oh, we really really are just great friends. Like she just
Mhm.
comes on strong and that's it. But to have it like end the way that it ended with like just not talking, I'm like, oh, it
Mhm.
probably was never that deep for you. It probably was always just a surface level, like, oh, I see you
Right.
online, we're gonna be friends. And that's the
Mhm.
other thing that's hard too. Social media friends are
Yeah.
hard because it's
Yeah.
like, especially when you have kind of a following, like not that I really don't have that big of a following, but I have like enough that every now and then people are like, oh, you have so many followers.
Mm.
And so like it is hard sometimes to know that people are trying to establish like, an actual friendship with you, not
Yeah.
just like, oh, can you reshare, can you repost, all that stuff.
Mhm. Right. Which is stuff you naturally do for somebody that like you're friends with and like believe in what they're doing and that kind of stuff is something that's like super easy to do. But yeah,
Yeah.
when that's the whole thing that like they're contacting you and that's like the initial contact is like, hey, you've got a great page. Can you share this? It's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Well,
yeah.
and what's funny is I don't mind when they come across
Yeah.
business like from the beginning because I know where we
Hmm.
stand. That's cool.
True.
Like,
That's a good
can you
point.
do this? Can you do that? Great. But I
Hmm.
hate when they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're so amazing. You're so," and like try to like
Mm,
build the friendship, and then they're like,
yeah.
"Oh, that's so," she did, and it just feels like they're you
Yeah.
like it's not as genuine, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
So, if for as I mentioned, it's Women's History Month, are
Mhm.
you doing anything to celebrate womanness this month, making you feel extra powerful, extra strong, extra woman?
I mean, it's interesting, right? Because the the removal of the overt celebration of so many of our months has made it both like we should do more things and then also it's hard to
Mhm,
collect the information yourself in
mhm,
addition to the other stuff, right? So I have not landed on anything necessarily real focused, with the exception of what I'm already doing
yeah,
with my practice and stuff. But I am it's been my 2026 goal to live more and more into my dismantling internalized misogyny, talking more
mhm,
about that conversation with people. I did a couple of videos on my YouTube channel about it because you cannot dismantle patriarchal thinking or patriarchal systems without unlearning internalized misogyny. Like it's just not an option
yeah,
because you can't fight a patriarchy, you have to starve it. And
mhm,
so in order to do so, you have to start internally. So that's been a 2026 focus in general, but especially right now,
yeah.
that's
And
a lot of the smaller conversations that are being had.
And they're important small conversations. And I find
Mhm.
that getting to the root of sometimes the majority of the battle is getting people to self-identify that they're kind of the problem. Like people don't
Yeah.
want to acknowledge the internalized, but like
Mhm.
you could be the most feminist of feminists and still have some internalized
Yep.
misogyny. You can be all
Yeah.
like Black power and still have some internalized racism. Like we're not immune
Mhm.
from it because we all move in a world where those systems are so like deeply
Yeah.
sunk into the cores of our being. So like
Right.
when people say like, oh, I don't have this bone in my body, I'm like, actually, you're probably worse because you can't identify it. It's
Right.
the people who can identify like,
Mhm.
sometimes
Yeah.
that are actively working to make it better.
Right. And when I work with people with like internalized homophobia, that's tends to be a slightly easier one for people to handle admitting, you know?
Mhm.
But one of the things I do like to remind people when they're dealing with the internalized part of it is that like you learned that before you learned the power in fighting it, you know?
Yeah.
Like before you learned the power that you possess, you learned the first one.
Mhm.
Because you would never have had to learn your power if you weren't first told you didn't have any.
Right. That's
So,
very
you
true.
know, like getting because people get kind of down on themselves, like I've done all this work and I still have these things that pop up and everything, you know, I'm like, but you learned the first one first. So
Right.
you've just got to give yourself a little more time, a little more grace. And it's not sometimes you can't help the first thought that comes into your head because that's what you've been trained into for so long. The first thought about yourself that comes, you know, that comes up about that. Like, so, but it's the action that follows it. It's what you say out loud. It's the things that you choose to do and engage in and deal with that are going to determine like who you really are at your core.
Right. Because it's really like you can't help your initial responses to things
Hmm.
because that's just life.
Right.
Like you said, like that's what's been
Hmm.
honed into with us. But it's that
Right.
stopping the thought and changing it that really matters. And
Right.
I feel like people don't always like either acknowledge or realize that you control your thinking. Your thinking
Hmm.
doesn't control you. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like, yes, your thoughts come and you don't have control over them, but you absolutely have control over like what thoughts you let stay, what thoughts
Right.
you let marinate, and like whether or not you change your thoughts.
Hmm. Yeah, totally.
Well, I am so grateful to you for joining me this evening.
Yeah.
I know our little production box popped up there, but we have a guest. But I can't thank you enough for joining me this evening.
Yeah,
It's been
thanks for
really
having
great
me.
chatting. Can you tell everybody just a little bit more about like where they can find you?
Yep. Here, so on Instagram, I have both at Ask a Queer Therapist. That's my practice and therapy Instagram handle, and then I have at Kelly R. Minter, which is more of like queer travel and mental health things. And then I have a YouTube channel at Kelly R. Minter and TikTok at Kelly R. Minter. And then all my other links are linked through various link trees on all of those. So website, blog, therapy practice, all of those.
Perfect, perfect. Well, if anyone needs you can find you. They can also message me, that African butterfly, to get a hold of you, or Feel Good Talk. Thank you again so much, Kelly, for joining me for this great chat, and thank you everybody who watched at home.
Thank you. Bye.